And we are live. Good evening, everyone. Or should I say good afternoon, good morning, good night, depending on where you're tuning in from. My name is Nipun. This is the SW6 Cast. And we are joined today by my co host, Matt Ball. Joining us later to discuss the Arsenal game will be Mr. T. I don't want to say his surname because I'll butcher it if I tried. So yeah, Matt, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. Obviously, wasn't a great result at the weekend, but we move on. It's a national break. We've got to suffer for a week or so, but hopefully we can get some players back from the injury list and we can smash the last bit of the season and get top four.
At least Romeo they'll all be back, won't they? Jackson, Lavia.
I think Madueke still is a touch and go. Is probably not going to be back straight away.
Well, Madueke is not even that good anyway.
Yeah, I'm not bothered with Madueke. I mean, Jackson, Palmer, Lavia, just get them three back, and that'll be better.
Has Romeo Lavia gone on Belgium duty?
No. He might be in the under 21s. I'm not sure, but
wait, he hasn't been called up at senior level yet.
I don't think so. Well, he's been injured quite a lot.
No way. Wow. I thought he'd been called up at least once.
Oh, he's probably been called up before, but I just don't think he's been called up this time.
Oh, yeah. 1 second, I need to tell Manny that he can join in 10 minutes.
Don't know where Nip in your back.
Here we go. I'm back.
Yeah,
So yeah, I've
looking.
I've sent Manny the link. He'll join in 10 minutes.
Cool. Yeah, but I can't see that he's been called up.
What, Lavia?
At the moment. Not today.
Oh, speaking of international duty,
found the squad. Yeah, he's not in the squad.
So who? Has Penders been called up?
No.
Do you see him as a future full Belgium international? Like starting as their first choice goalkeeper.
I mean that. But if he does well at Chelsea, of course, I think there are some good goalkeepers that are waiting in the lurch. You've got, I mean, two of the guys that are in the squad now, Sene Laumans, and who plays for Antwerp, and Martin van der Voort, who play. Well, you got Casteels as well, but you got Martin van der Voort who plays for Leipzig. I think he's at now. So that's two, and that's two goalkeepers that just around his age group that are good. Not even talking about Casteels, and obviously Matt Sells is in there at the moment after his Forest performances. So yeah, he won't get in straight away, but if he does well at Chelsea, then he'll be number one, just like Courtois was.
Do you see Matt Sells getting a massive move at the end of the season?
I don't think so. I think he'll. I don't think he'll be as good as he was this season. You look at the stats. So
you think he drops off?
I think he's overperforming a lot in terms of his stats. I mean, Forest in general are just overperforming massively in all stats, which is why I've kind of expected them to at some point drop off. but
Well, they haven't.
I think they'll probably keep it on for most of the season. But I think next season you'll see a drop off, especially with having to play Champions League football.
Do you think they're turning into, well, they don't like being compared to them, Leicester 2.0, an East Midlands side finishing in a European spots, and then they eventually get relegated?
No, I think Forest are probably better run than Leicester. I mean, Leicester at the end when they got relegated, I think the Forest owner is a pretty good owner. I mean, he's a bit controversial in some aspects, but he's done well for them.
Well, he's a bit of a trigger happy lunatic.
Yeah, he's a lunatic. But
when it comes to firing coaches.
Yeah, but I mean, what a lot of owners are trigger happy with that aspect of football at the moment.
The only one I knew instead of him was Roman.
The Watford owners. Watford have about 3 managers a season.
Do they still go through managers faster than?
I mean, they were at one point they were going through managers faster than Chelsea. But yeah.
But yeah, this is meant to be a quiet area. Anything but. Where I am is meant to be a quiet area. Before I come into my stream. I'm in my local gym.
In the gym. This is the beauty of Nippin. He will stream anywhere.
My unique selling point is that I do not have a set studio.
Yeah, you'll see him in the car. You'll see him driving. You'll see him in some random service station somewhere across the country. You'll see him at his gym. You'll see him in some random hotel.
Even in the air, because some airlines do have this free Wi-Fi. Well, not free Wi-Fi, but full Wi-Fi where you can video call and all that.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the Nippin Sharma stream, 10,000 feet in the air.
Yeah, I tried an IG live, but I think I was going over a country where Wi-Fi was limited.
Mm-hmm. Nippin will be redefining the definition of Mile High Club.
Yeah, let's not go there. What were you? Well, I saw. You must have seen the title I gave your fan cam. The game was over in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I actually think the game could have gone either way. It's basically just two toothless teams.
No, but I mean,
garbage attack up front.
I mean, look at it in hindsight. The game was done in that first 30 minutes because if we didn't play so poorly in that first 35 minutes, the game would have been 0-0 because, as you said, both teams were just meh. But we were really bad in that first bit. And I think I think Arsenal was still the better team throughout the whole match, but we just weren't as bad as we were.
At least we weren't humiliated.
I mean, it was a bit of a. It wasn't a humiliation in terms of scoreline and that, but it was just a terrible performance. I mean, you've only had 2 shots. Both of them have come from your left back, and one of them one of them effectively your only real chance of scoring come from a goalkeeper mistake.
This has been going through my head so many times. But do you not think do you not think Mark Cucurella screams Marcus Alonso 2.0?
I mean, he's Marcus Alonso, but he can actually defend.
But did you get my Marcus Alonso comparison?
Yeah, I think
Spanish, both were the number 3.
yeah, I think I think quite a few people have said
So
that on Twitter, and I think they're right. I don't like to compare players, but similar traits in terms of type of fullback. But yeah, I think Cucurella actually, I think defensively didn't have a good game, well, as good a game in that game. But that was down to Nkuku not knowing the definition of defending and helping your man back. And that's why Arsenal, especially in that first 30 minutes, was going down that side every time because
do you,
they see that Mark Cucurella 2v1 wasn't going to stop him.
do you think he needs to what's his name? Do you think Nkunku needs to leave?
I think it would be. I like Nkuku, but I think
Attitude.
his attitude's not right. He's sour at the club. The relationship with the club soured, and when a player's like this, you just have to get rid of him.
But what if the owners do this? Like, say he storms into the owner's office and he says, I want to be transfer listed." But then what if the owners are like, "Okay, we're going to price you out of a move, which will deter anyone from signing them." Like, say if the owners say, "Okay, you're priced at 150 million pounds. Good luck. Good luck with anyone signing you."
I don't think they would do that.
What? But what if they did? What would happen if the owners priced him out of a move?
He'll either have to get on with it, shut up, and find a way back in the squad, or he goes AWOL and tries to force the move even more. That's the two ways about it. But I think the Chelsea owners will only be focused about getting their money back on the books, and if they can get a little bit more, then great. But that's what
Which
they'll
one
be.
of our players do you think could potentially be priced out of a move?
Palmer, Caicedo.
Even if they kick up a stink.
I mean, I don't think them players would necessarily kick off a stink that much, but
Cole Palmer, you don't think Cole Palmer has been a bit chatty as of late?
in what way?
Like, does he not look like he's given up?
No, I think he looks like a player that's a bit low in confidence. A player that's got no options around him because half of our attack are injured. And a player that's struggling a bit. That doesn't mean he's checked out.
That's what a lot of people are thinking.
What you said or what I said?
What I said, that a lot of people think he's checked out. I mean, I'm not one of them. I just think it's a low confidence thing.
People are putting 2 and 2 together and making 5.
Yeah, but 2 plus 2 does not equal 5, does it?
That's the point. They're trying to make 4, but they're making 5. So they're overthinking it, and they're just playing into their own narratives because Cole Palmer kicking up a fuss would go into the narrative of Chelsea being this absolute disaster.
But okay, if they don't kick off a fuss, why would we need to price them out of a move?
Well, it's more of a if Real Madrid come in, they want Cole Palmer. Chelsea don't want to sell Cole Palmer. Simple as that. We price him out of a move.
But do you not think
we ask for a price that is more than what Real Madrid are willing to pay? That's the definition of price. Now,
you know who you're talking to? You're talking to Real Madrid. They're going to be willing to pay anything.
All right. If you slap the £250 million price tag on Cole Palmer, you saying Real Madrid will sign him?
Huh?
if Real Madrid come in for Cole Palmer right now and Chelsea slapped a £250 million price tag on him, you think Real Madrid are going to be able to pay that?
Well,
FFP
they're
wise,
crazy, aren't they?
yeah, but FFP wise, I don't think they could afford that. I mean,
Speaking of Real Madrid,
we talk about Real Madrid, but they haven't actually spent mental in the last couple of years. They've been very opportunistic, getting a lot of quite a few free deals and low price deals, and then splashing out on one or two players
they
to a point.
splashed out on Kylian
Yes, but
Mbappe.
Kylian Mbappe is Mbappe, and they got him on a free, so they could do whatever they wanted with the wages and stuff. But
That's what I meant by splashed out.
that's what I mean. Like they've, yeah, but they can splash out on the wages because they have a big revenue anyway, so they can offset the amount of wages that is coming from their players on that. But the point is, they're not paying a transfer fee, so they can. That's why free players tend to get more wages because there's not a transfer fee the club has to pay, so they can say, "Well, we'll put a bit more into the wage because we've not paid a transfer fee for you, and we don't." There's that expenditure gone. To say Mbappe was to be, I don't know, say he's £120 million player over 5 years. That's £22 million a season that would be on the books for his price tag and transfer fee. So effectively, you could argue that you can put the extra 5-6 million into wages because you're not spending that.
Yeah.
But I can't remember many. Bellingham's probably the one that was kind of the big transfer fee.
They paid like 18. They paid more than 100 million for him, though.
But that's the thing. It's not well. It was less than Caicedo.
Do you think? Remember the season Leicester won the league and we bought Kante from them. How do you think we would have won more trophies if we had gone for their three most important players, Kante, Vardy, and Mahrez? Do you think we would have won more, like with Jamie Vardy up front, Mahrez on one side?
I don't think Vardy would have suited the way we played. I don't think he would have been the same player that he is at Leicester because I do think he relies
he's
on.
a fox in we had. He's a fox in the box. Most of our strikers, if you look at it,
he's that to a point, but that's a bit. He is that a bit more now because he's ancient in terms of age, but he also relied in that day on kind of high lines against the defence, and that's why Leicester were very good when they were the underdogs and not so good when teams started sitting back on them.
Do you think he would have scored?
But my point would be, I don't think he would have scored nowhere near as much at Chelsea, personally, than what he did at Leicester. He's a great player. Would he
score less than 10 goals?
I think he would have scored 10 to 15 tops.
Really?
Obviously in Premier League, not in all competitions, but Mahrez, the thing is, I just don't think Leicester would not sell you all three together. Well, not together, but they wouldn't sell you all three to one club because that is just logically that doesn't work. So I think we picked the best of the three in Kante. I like Mahrez. I would have loved Mahrez to be at the club, but I also think we had decent enough wingers at the time. And I just don't think they would have sold him. I would, if you asked me between Mahrez and Kante, I would pick Kante all day long.
So, we're just waiting for Manny now. Hopefully he joins soon. He did say he's joining. He replied to me.
Yeah. Well, we can talk about it, and if he joins, he joins.
So, What are your thoughts on the England squad selection? Like, I don't
Um,
know why Jordan Henderson is there.
I've
Apart
just
from maybe Tuchel said,
I'm
"Oh,
just
he's
get I'm
gonna
just getting
win."
the I'm just getting the squad up now because I actually don't know it off the top of my head. This is a bit far away.
Big up yourself, Manny.
Good evening, gentlemen. Nippon, Matt, nice to see you both.
Nice to see you, mate.
Good evening. So, we need an Arsenal perspective on the game now. We're talking. We were before we started talking about England. We were talking about the game. So now that you're here, we need your 2 cents on it.
Which game specifically?
Um, you know the game we played against each other.
Oh, yes, the one for which we did that review. I'll tell you what.
Preview.
I remember. Yes. I remember, of course, going on at halftime and on at full time to Carl's watch along. Shout out to Gun Down UK, KB Arsenal Pat 32 on Twitter. And I was saying that, quite frankly, the two teams supposedly trying to finish in the top four of the Premier League, that match had some of the most slipshod defending and goalkeeping I had ever seen. And
And
don't think for one moment that I am just here to bash Robert Sanchez, because credit to him, he actually pulled off one of the saves of the season in the second half. But David Raya, anyone who dares to call him one of the best in the league or the best in the world, they need to give their head a whoop.
he's
That
better than
person
our
is.
he's better than our siesta goalkeeper.
Yeah, but
Well, be
Nippon,
that as
that's.
it may. Go ahead, Matt.
I was gonna say that's like comparing one piece of shit to another piece of shit. They're both
So
shit.
in other
It's
words,
just
trash versus garbage.
yeah. It's not that. I mean, they're both bad, so it's not the point of well, one's better than the other. I mean, they're both ultimately not good enough for the clubs that they are at.
They're certainly both better than a certain Aaron Ramsdale. Let me put it that way. Soon to be his fourth club relegation, in addition to having been relegated with England from the Nations League. Relegation Ramsdale has a nice ring to it, doesn't it, boys?
Yeah, it does.
And I think once again I seem to be having a problem with my audio because now I can't hear either of you laughing. So I'm probably going to just offer my perspective and then just drop out and come right back in about 30 seconds. As I said, the defending was slipshod. Some of the goalkeeping was quite frankly horrible. And it was as if a large number of players in that team simply forgot to, use the basic skills and apply them in a game. And as glad as I was that we earned 3 points and, played the same amount of games as Liverpool, let's not be under any impression that we are good enough in any way to suddenly overtake the overtake Arne Slot's team.
Well,
Because
have you
as
seen?
much in as
Have
much as
you?
they're in a bit of a bad patch of form right now, having also lost the League Cup final, they will still find a way to overcome that, and they always have this season. Whenever they've had a loss or even a draw, they found a way to, win their next game, and they've actually got at least a margin easier run in than we do. As
Have
far as we're
you?
concerned, we'll probably do just enough to hold on to second, unless Nuno
Doesn't
something amazing
madness.
and ends up overtaking us. And if we finish third, then that will really be a step down from the previous 2 seasons, and it will
And
lend
then,
more
and then,
ammunition to those of us who were saying that maybe we've reached our ceiling under this manager. As far as Chelsea is concerned, I know that a large number of fans are going to say that, better him than Pochettino because that devil, had you performing very inconsistently. And although you had a very good end to the season, you still didn't finish as high as you would have wanted. You did get into the Conference League, whoop-de-doo, but that wasn't deemed good enough for Chelsea, and he was sent on his way. And now, despite having a plum gig in terms of managing the US national team and possibly being the US national coach for their historic World Cup campaign on home soil, he's sounded out the possibility of coming back to Spurs. Seriously, does the man have any shame? I'm not too sure if Maresca will necessarily be the person to even help you reach a high level. You should be able to win the Conference League, but there's something in me that feels as though he will need to completely rejig the squad and make sure he, gets them really cooperating in terms of his own philosophy. And he's got to do a lot of work and evolution, especially in the summer. Otherwise, it could definitely go very sour. You should do enough to secure top 4, but it will not be easy because there are some good teams below you that will certainly look to fight tooth and nail with you till the end of the season. As I said, it was a dire game. I'm just glad we got the 3 points. A far cry from the 5-0 we registered last season in the corresponding fixture. This time around, I just think there seems to be an air of let's just do whatever we can and end the season. Many of us have already resigned ourselves to the fact that we're not going to win this. It'll be Arnie Slot, Phase 1, who wins it before us. And now even Eddie Howe will have won a trophy this season, so both clubs will have had better seasons than us. Forget about the Champions League. We're not getting past Real Madrid. Let me just drop out and come right back, boys.
Okay. While Manny is fixing his audio issues, Jacob2501 is asking me, when am I going to be at the bridge? I'm not sure is the answer to your question. But are you starting? Are you running your account, or is your dad running your account?
I assume that's aimed at Jacob.
Yeah, it is.
Fair enough. I was going to say, because my dad definitely is not running my account.
No, but big up yourself, Jacob.
Oh, Jacob, Chelsea fan. Oh, yeah, I know.
Yeah, he is. His dad's a season ticket holder, and they go to games together.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Don Chelsea fan TV. It's cool. Yeah. Hello, Jacob. But yeah, on what Manny said, I think for me, I think Maresca. I don't understand the sudden kind of twist of for the last 3 months, Chelsea fans have been like, owner this, owner that, owner this, owner that. They've had their little protest and it kind of flopped because we sung Tottenham songs rather than focusing on potential real issues. But my point is, since the protest, it's suddenly gone, oh, we're not going to moan about the owners anymore. We've kind of given up on that and we're going to just go towards Maresca. And it's a sudden direction of Maresca's style of play is awful, which it hasn't been great in the last few games, but some of the injuries we've had and weakening of the squad thanks to the sporting directors hasn't really helped that. So
heads need to roll in the summer.
I mean, I don't think the sporting directors have done a good enough job with what they've been given. But I think if Chelsea get top 4, top 5, whatever it's going to be, I think they will be more than safe.
Do you think they'll be binned if we do not finish in the top 5?
I think there may be conversations, but unfortunately in football, it is much easier just to sack a manager for that and use them as the tool to blame.
Do you think if we sack Maresca, we will end up upgrading on him or getting another shit coach?
I mean, I would be interested to see what they would do should they sack Maresca. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised with obviously Santos potentially coming back from Strasbourg I wouldn't be surprised if they got Liam Rosina and gave him the upgrade, which for me, I think he's been a decent manager for Strasbourg and he was decent at Hull, but I think that's way too early to step in at Chelsea. But we'll see. We'll see what they do. I think Maresca will be here at the end of the season. I think we will get top 4 or 5, whatever it's going to be, and get Champions League football. And I think the squad will be rejigged about to an extent. I think there'll be players that are just not good enough that will go out. I think hopefully we can see a bit more quality in terms of slightly more experienced players and not teenagers, but we'll have to wait and see what they do in the summer about that.
So, do you think? So, what will it take? How badly do you think the season will need to go in order for the sporting directors to be potted?
Honestly, I think they could just stay no matter what at the end of the season. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, when you don't often hear many times of sporting directors actually getting the sack.
Do you see the sporting directors actually changing their strategy? Because you can't really win if you don't sign any experience.
I think they can potentially change the strategy. It depends on where the strategy's been briefed from. If it is coming more directly from the owners, if you've got to work in this sort of way. It also depends if financially, how the club's finances are in terms of can they move away from what they're doing by much, because I think with Chelsea having a revenue stream in terms of match day revenue and sponsors at the moment at an all-time low, in some way you've got to be a bit more creative to be able to improve your revenue enough to spend on players. I do think once we're in the Champions League, we'll get some good. Well, we'll hopefully get a sponsor, and that'll be nice. Depends on how much, and then we can start to see.
I don't know. I'm getting used to seeing no sponsors.
Oh, so don't go wrong. Aesthetically, for a shirt, I love it. I love the fact there's no sponsor on there, but it does feel weird not having one on there because everyone else does. And especially last season where we got a sponsor halfway through the season, I've been very much not wanting to buy a shirt just in case the sponsor does come, and then it looks like I've just got some dodgy shirt from God knows where in the world. But apparently we're not getting one this season, so now I'm trying to find the third kit, which is now completely out of stock, not coming back in. So that's unfortunate, but there you go.
Manny, apologies for boring you with Chelsea talk. So,
no need to apologise. I mean, like, what seems to be the same thing that's going on at a large number of clubs in the Premiership, not just Arsenal now. And if only we had the option of sacking our manager, but the problem is he's got so much goodwill despite consistently failing. It's scary, and people are going to say we can't sack a manager who's finished in the top 2 or top 3 for the last 3 seasons. Actually, you can if you feel as though there's no progress.
What has he won though? Apart from that Fugazi FA Cup against us.
Well,
I'm calling it Fugazi. I'm calling it Fugazi because Kovacic should not have been sent off. Granit Xhaka, I don't know what he was doing by plunging his studs into Kovacic.
I mean, all I can say is the footballing gods were on the side of Arsenal that day. But if that's the only trophy that Arteta can win, then that is a trouble because it's been 5 years since then. It'll be 5 years this summer, and he's not won anything since.
It'll be 6 years in November.
Soon to be 5 full seasons without a damn trophy, and they don't see any signs of things improving. And the worst part is, he's going to take a look at what he's done and say he's made progress, but given the support he's had and the backing he's been given financially, you have to expect a little bit more. And as the legend that is Kenny Ken brilliantly said, the only reason why we're second in the league this season is because the rest of the league is just so inconsistent, and we have to include some clubs that are managed by people we admire in that list. I mean, I talked a deal about how much I admire Unai Emery, but his Aston Villa side have been very, very inconsistent this season. And, you know, there are so many others who,
And they could
Newcastle,
still go further in the Champions League. I mean, they're in a quarter-finals. I mean, albeit against PSG. But we've seen Unai Emery's Villarreal knock out another heavyweight in Bayern Munich at the same stage.
Yep, exactly. And Emery will be very determined. I was just saying, Emery will be determined to put one over.
To get one over PSG.
Yep.
And it's actually
as will Marco Asensio.
It's actually wait. I swear he can't play against them since it's a loan.
No, he can. You are allowed to play in the Champions League if you are on loan.
So if Man United
because that's how
Aston Villa
a large number of players play on.
So if Man United and Aston Villa were playing each other in the Champions League this season, would Marcus Rashford be allowed to play against them?
In the Champions League, yes, but in the FA Cup, no.
That's why Nippon, when we played Atletico Madrid and Courtois was on loan to them and was able to play for them and do really well against us. That Champions League's always been like that, where you can.
Courtois
I'm not saying he isn't, but I'm just stating the facts that he was able to play against us because he was on loan.
But that doesn't change the fact that he's a snake.
Oh, Nippon, you're never going to let that down, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm never going to let the Kai Havertz one go.
Ironically, Matt, he's very, giving of Petr Cech.
He practically gift wrapped those 4 goals in the Europa League final.
What do you mean, Nippon?
Gift wrapped us. He was in goal when we played each other in the UCL, in the Europa League final.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure Manny does not want to be reminded of that evening.
No, I don't. Because, look, the sad part is that, Emery was made a huge scapegoat that day. And, the players, in my opinion, just down tools on him. Cech was actually the best player on the pitch. Wasn't to blame for any of the 4 goals. He was badly let down. And, there's a big part of me that thinks that the fans never really warmed to him. They never really wanted him from the start. And they were never really willing to give him a chance.
He's coming from
they mocked him for his English.
Why would they?
What do you mean?
Why would they warm to someone who used to play for their rivals? It's like a lot of fans
used to play for who?
Nippon, he's talking about Emery, not Cech.
Oh, I thought he was talking about Cech.
Cech was quality, but I think his best days were behind him, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Chelsea picked the right time to let him go. I mean, I always used to say it was Chelsea. Arsenal players went to Chelsea to win trophies, and Chelsea players went to Arsenal to retire, i.e., David Luiz, Willian, Cech.
Yeah, look, Chelsea players went on. Arsenal players came to Chelsea to win trophies. We sent our players to Arsenal to win fuck all.
I mean, they're still winning nothing now, but I think that they'd rather be in the Champions League than playing in the Conference League at the moment, where our players are. So we can't talk about that too much right now.
And of course, let's not forget that David Luiz did win the FA Cup at your expense.
Again, Granit Xhaka should have been sent off.
Nipping at this, buts and maybes. That was how long ago now? We
If
just
buts
got.
and maybes, only absolutes. Well, who said that? I don't deal in if buts and maybes. I only deal in absolutes. That was a horrible. Oh my god! I should never attempt a Scouse accent ever again.
Nip, I didn't even think that was a Scouse accent. I just thought you had a sore throat.
Yeah, but yeah, big up James Redmond. I almost called him James Jedmond. Yeah.
Going back
if you ever do want to try the accent, just remember the milk advertisement from back in the day. Accrington Stanley, who are
there? Brilliant. But going back to the game, I think I agree with Manny, but it was possibly the worst games of football I've ever seen between Chelsea and Arsenal. And that's what frustrates me about losing, is the fact that not that we were just bad, it was just the fact that Arsenal were not very good either. And as I said, I think if that first 30 minutes we weren't just an absolute disaster in defence, and Sanchez decided to just make every mistake on the earth, apart from the goal. I actually thought the goal wasn't really much his fault, with more others. But that first 30 minutes, we didn't play like that, and we played like we did for the rest of the game. It would have just been a box standard 0-0, and at the end of the day, I probably would have taken that going into the international break.
Do you think oh god, what was I going to say?
Whatever it was, I didn't hear what Nippon was saying.
I'm going to stand by what I said in my fan cam. That game could have gone either way.
Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, this is probably a troll. Yeah, it is a troll. This is some idiot pretending to be Mina from... This is... Someone banned this user. It's some idiot pretending to be Mina from Mina Talks Football, pretending to be Toby from Tapping Tobes.
Oh, hello, troll. Bye, troll. But yeah, I think that, yeah, as you said, the game could have gone either way. It was, and that's what frustrates me, of the fact that you've got so many Chelsea fans that are just like out of this world, like, oh my god, this was the worst game I've ever seen Chelsea play in like 3 years. And I'm like, but you said that last year, the year before, and the year before that. Like, don't you, either you guys have got very short-term memories, or you're just idiots. Because I remember the Chelsea versus Manchester City game where I think we lost 6-0. I remember the Chelsea Man City game that was 1-0, but we were systematically just destroyed in every single metric of football. It was ridiculous. I almost felt sick coming out away from that game. So that is nothing compared to what we saw against Arsenal. Absolutely nothing. That Man City game made me feel ill. The only other game that's ever made me feel ill like that was 2009. You know the game.
Champion, what, the Boscomlona game?
Yeah, he who shall not be named.
What? Who?
The referee.
Oh yeah. So many. He got so many death threats.
That name is banned in this house. It does not get said. I should have a sign on the door that says banned words. Arsenal, Tottenham.
Do you think he really meant? Do you think he really meant that apology?
Did he? Did he mean? No, I think he was happy enough with his money that he got given by UEFA and Barcelona at the time. But it is what it is. But yeah, that day made me feel sick in football. And
You know what made me
Man
feel
City,
sick?
the Man City game did that. Arsenal game, this one just gone.
You know what made me
It
feel
was nothing
sick?
like that.
Remember that semi-final, Chelsea women against Barcelona women?
Last season,
Yeah,
yeah, I was in the stand for that game.
and that referee, you saw the smirk on her face.
Yeah, I mean that didn't make me sick. That just made me chuckle a little bit because I was like, you couldn't be any more obvious. But I mean, yeah, that game I had a Barcelona fan right next to me, even though I'm in the home end and they had an away end, and
How the fuck did he get in?
she actually. So I was
Sorry,
like, I was a bit more
how
like,
did she get in? My bad.
I think there was multiple Barcelona fans that bought Chelsea tickets just because they could. To be fair, they did sell out their end, so they probably just wanted to go. But I was like, you're being really annoying, but like, I just couldn't say anything to them. I was like, oh God. Like, one, I don't speak Spanish, and two, if it's a guy, it's a bit different. You can kind of have a go, but not really too much you can say to a woman without getting problems the other way.
Yeah.
I need to get a charger.
As bad as that semi-final might have been, it probably wouldn't have been quite as bad as 2008 in Moscow, huh? John Terry slipping and missing that penalty.
Oh God! Don't remind us, Manny.
Nippon, have you got any games to remind Manny
My
of?
apologies.
That's bad.
How about the 2000? If you're talking about that, how about the 2006 final against Barcelona?
I accept that. I knew that I was going to get it. I was prepared for that. And all I can say is that Jens Lehmann proved why he will never be remembered as an all-time great Arsenal goalkeeper. I don't care if he was our invincible. He will never be fit to lace David Seaman's boots. What he was thinking doing what he did, getting himself sent off when we needed, him to stay on the field, obviously, I will never know. We ended up subbing off Robert Pires, and the rest is history. Solskjaer, Jeremiah Campbell scored, put us 1-0 up, I believe, but then we just weren't able to take it on from there. And then, of course, certain Giuliano Belletti, who went on to play for you lot, scored the winner.
Yeah.
Where are all these bots?
There are so many.
From?
I mean, at least they're putting up the viewership. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Thanks, but no thanks. At the same time.
Sides Munchie Biryani. I mean, at least that name's a bit more creative. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just someone pretending to be someone else. Oh,
You're back again.
another one. There you go. Ban.
Uh,
I would know if the real side was in the chat, which is pretty unlikely. Anyway, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Well, I wish Arsenal a happy second place because I think that's what they'll get. Because I think, as Manny said, we're all too inconsistent to catch up now. I think if we beat Arsenal at the weekend, I think that would have been the chance to drag them into this inconsistent race. But I think they're going to be happily, well, whether they're happy in second, they'll be in second. Whether they're happy or not is another question. But yeah, with Chelsea, just got to get some players back fit and get top four.
By the way, Manny, have you seen the amount of fans on Twitter saying Liverpool will now bottle the 15-point lead?
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, don't get me started on those morons. You know what I say, Nippon? It's people like them who put the twit in Twitter. Bunch of. I mean, I know you could change the A to another fitting letter, but I don't want to run the risk of, getting this stream cancelled. But yeah,
We get you, Manny.
I'm afraid, Matt's. But I'm going to tell you what, though. A lot of people were thinking that Nottingham Forest would have a bit of a dip, and yet they still managed to pick up a few points. So I would be surprised we're knocked off second, mind you, because for what it's worth, they're probably about 3 or 4 behind us, and that's a deficit that can easily be, overcome if we end up stumbling at the worst possible time and we end up having some bad games. Let's not forget
We'll be
we've got
there
to play
for it.
Liverpool at Anfield,
Me
and
and
it
Matt
all
will be there for it. Don't you worry about that.
Huh? Oh, sure. And in all likelihood, that's probably going to be the game where we'll be forced to give Liverpool a guard of honour after wrap up the Premier League title. So in between, we've got to play some tough games against Andoni Iraola's Bournemouth and quite a few others. And
fair enough.
All I'm saying is that whatever happens, I just want this season to get over. I just want the season to get over and we start all over again. News is, of course, that Arteta will be telling, the people in charge not to bother buying a striker because he's very happy with Mikel Merino. The more I think about that, the more I realise it's Eddie Nketiah all over again. Penny wisdom, pound foolishness. Costs us as we end up missing out on the big prizes once again. We're just never going to learn, are we?
Right. So, before we wrap up, Manny, where can people find you?
Well, first of all, Nippon, big up to you. Big up to Matt. Wonderful to see you again, mate. And you can catch me on your channel here, Nippon, every now and then, whenever I can possibly make it. Also, catch me on 2 channels hosted by my friend Steve Jenkins, better known as Mr. B. The Buzz, the Hive of Football Chat, and also Mr. B Chats England Cricket, because in case people might not know, both Mr. B and I are big cricket fans as well. I'm not too sure if that's Nippon's cup of tea, but, can't have everyone liking the same thing. Otherwise, life would be boring. Also, catch me on Del Boy Gunner TV, Coach's Corner, Oris Talks Football, Cherries in All Departments, which is a wonderful Bournemouth fan channel. Big up to Craig Beasley and Matthew Harrison, 2 fine people. Tony Claude Gunner TV, Danny AFC TV, Rich Sports, Football United, Gun Down UK, as I've mentioned, the Southern Gooner, Matt Odom, Spurs U Asian TV with Eugene, based all the way in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I really enjoy going on his channel, and we don't engage banter. It's all respectful stuff between 2 fans of North London clubs based in the Eastern Hemisphere at the moment. And nothing much else to say except it's Tuesday. Tomorrow's hump day. And of course, it's time for international football. Always something that I enjoy. I'm not like everyone else. Hope you all enjoy the games as much as you can. Tommy Tuchel taking charge of England for the first time. That should be fun. Until then, to all of you, thanks a lot to everyone in the chat. Thanks a lot to all of you watching on playback. Take care of yourselves, be safe and be happy. Don't do anything that Matt, Nip and I wouldn't do. And as always, do unto others as you'd have others do unto you. Till then, see you all soon and good night.
Nip, you're on mute.
Matt, where can people find you?
So first of all, big up to Manny for joining. Always a pleasure to speak and hear from him. You can find me on Twitter at MattJBall98, and you can find me on the Blue Code Project podcast on Spotify and Apple, and you can find me on the membership section of Chelsea Perspective. Oh, and went to Mo Kings Meadow podcast as well. Occasional guest on that.
Big up. And you can find me on my own channel. You can also subscribe to my second channel where I do reviews with airlines, restaurants, and all that good stuff. British lifestyle blogger. You can find me on Twitter at the Nippon Sharma. You can find me on Instagram with Nippon with 4 I's and 3 U's. You can find me on my other Instagram, Nippon Reviews Lifestyle. You can also find me as an occasional cameoist on Worldwide Chels and an occasional caller on Football Carnage TV, run by the Big Six's very own Liverpool representative, Chris Khan. And with that being said, I shall see you all in the next video stream. Laters.
Right,